And we're back with Larry Caplan, and this topic is one that probably impacts all homeowners who have trees in their yard, and you have some pretty compelling pictures. So what do we do when those vines start climbing up our trees?
Yes, vines climbing up a tree are not a good thing. Even the native vines. And for Ron over here, leaves of 3, let it be. He says, I don't remember what poison ivy looks like.
Now you know.
Leaves of 3, let it be. I learned that in Boy Scouts. But I got a couple pictures here.
Right.
First, let's talk about why vines in a tree are bad. First off, the vines add a lot of weight to the tree and to the tree limbs. They also hide a lot of defects. When I come out to inspect a tree, one of the things I'm looking for are hollows. I'm looking for mushrooms coming out of the trunk. When you've got vines, this is English ivy, which is often used as a landscape plant, and it is covering the trees in this woods. It's very invasive. And I cannot tell you if these trees are safe or if they're dangerous because I can't see them. The next picture shows the English ivy climbing out on the branches.
It's covered, it's taken over, hasn't it?
Right. Now, if you remember to that ice storm we had in 2009, a lot of trees were destroyed by the ice, and 90% of them had the vines on it. And those are evergreen vines, and so each leaf had about 1 inch of ice on it. That's a lot of weight on a tree. So we don't want the vines up the tree if we can avoid it.
Does it, you know, we think about ivy growing on our houses, and they put those little feet down and dig in. I'm sure it does the same to the tree, right?
Exactly. The English ivy and some of the other vines, like poison ivy, have little tendrils that kind of glom onto the tree trunk. There's other vines, like bittersweet and Asian honeysuckle, which wrap around the tree and strangle it. So these are problems. Now, when I come up to a tree that has vines, well, first off, the best thing is don't let the vines start climbing up the tree.
So watch ahead of time. It's going to come now.
Pull it off, squirt a little Roundup, you know. But once it's up in the tree, we need to start removing it. Now, what I normally do is remove all the vines at the lower part of the trunk. Cut it with pruning shears or loppers. If it's real thick, you may need a handsaw. And what you want to do is you want to cut it and then pry it off the trunk, just that lower foot. The next picture shows what we've done here. Don't try to pull the vine out of the tree. Number one, it's just going to keep breaking. Number two, you may pull a heavy branch down onto your head.
Oh, excellent point, yes.
And I actually saw a guy do that who was arguing with me about, oh, yeah, I can pull the vine out, wham! Which is why I wear a helmet when I visit trees.
Which is smart.
Yeah. All right, so what do you do now that you've cut the vine? What I would do would be to paint the fresh cut with concentrated Roundup. If you can get the old glyphosate, that would be best. But even the new Roundup, which has the brush killer in it, triclopyr, that also works. And what happens is the chemical gets sucked down into the vine and into the roots of the vine and kills the vine without spreading the herbicide all over the landscape.
So it's drinking it in, and then it's going to kill it at the root or at the
and then the stuff that's in the tree will eventually get dry and brittle and drop out on its own.
There you go, from the expert, Larry Caplan. Thank you, Larry. More lifestyles right after this. Ron's Final Check of Weather. Don't go away.